Going into the 2022-2023 NBA season, we should all be excited as Detroit Pistons fans. We've had another great year in this year's draft, bringing in Asor Thompson and Marcus Sasser. We've added some veterans to this team that can knock down the trade ball with playoff experience. Monty Morris, Alec Burks, Bogdanovich, Joe Harris, all three of those guys can shoot the three ball, and they also have playoff experience. We've added Monty Williams as the head coach of the coaching staff, and most importantly, we're getting the best player on our team, Cade Cunningham, back, who has struggled with injury for the first 2 years of his young NBA career. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. It seems like Cade Cunningham is so locked in and so focused on this upcoming season for himself and for the Detroit Pistons. I'm pretty sure we've all seen footage of him over the offseason where it's him playing in open NBA runs, and also his performance with the Team USA organization. Now, what we seen Cade Cunningham, he's a part of the select team, and they helped the main roster for Team USA get ready for the FIBA World Cup. Now, after watching him in these clips and in these scrimmages, there's so much to be optimistic about if you're a fan of Cade Cunningham or if you're a fan of the Detroit Pistons. Number one, he looks fully healthy, and also it looks like he's been able to add muscle during his rehab. Watching him in those scrimmages, you could tell that paid off a lot. It seemed like Cade was able to get wherever he wanted to out on the basketball court. And then another thing that stood out to me, we all know the FIBA World Cup, Team USA eventually is going to have to run into Luka Doncic, who's one of the best players in the world, and not just in the world, but in the NBA, the best league in the basketball world. So Steve Kerr and the rest of the Team USA organization, they think Cade Cunningham is good enough to use him in that Luka Doncic role. And so many times on the channel, I have compared Cade Cunningham to Luka Doncic, and just being one of those guys that creates so many mismatches. You look at a guy like Cade Cunningham and Luka Doncic, they're both 6'7", 220 plus pounds. Both of those guys can beat you in so many different ways. Cade Cunningham, he can go at a smaller guy. He has post game. He has strength. He knows how to finish with brute force, or he can get a bigger guy out on the island. He has great isolation game. He's not the quickest, but he has so many great hesitation moves to his game, and you cannot speed him up. And then also, not only can he do that, he can operate out of the pick and roll, and then he can also kill you with his playmaking abilities. He's one of those handful of guys in the NBA that he can control the pace of a basketball game. He can slow it down, he can speed it up, and then he can pick guys in the right positions to be successful. And then on top of all of that, his high basketball IQ, he's an outstanding passer. So I thought it was really cool that Steve Kerr, who's won 4 NBA championships, and I believe he's played in 6 or 7, or he's coached 6 or 7 NBA finals. He sees that in Cade Cunningham, that he could use him like Luka Doncic. That has me really excited for next season. And then also, Cade just did a great job performing in those scrimmages, being a scorer, setting guys up. He also got to play alongside Jalen Duren in those scrimmages, so it's a great thing that those two guys were able to play on the same team against high-level competition. And I believe the first 2 scrimmages, the select team led by Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren, they beat the main roster. So that has me really, really excited for next season. And it seems like Cade Cunningham is really, really focused on himself and the Detroit Pistons for next season. And of course, Cade Cunningham, with the way he was performing in the Team USA scrimmages, and even before then, he definitely had an invite to be on the Team USA main roster to compete in the FIBA World Cup, but he respectfully declined. And to paraphrase what he said, I don't have his exact quote, but he basically said that he wanted to stay here and he wanted to focus on his rehab, and he wanted to be with his team, and he wanted to learn his guys a little bit more, man. So all of that, what we just talked about with Cade Cunningham being healthy, looking stronger, and then just playing well against some very high level competition, it has me really excited for next season. And when we look at Cade Cunningham, his first 2 years in the NBA, His rookie year, I actually thought he had a great rookie season. I thought he should have been rookie of the year. I know he got off to a very slow start, but once again, I'm a person that's really big on context. You look at his rookie year, he had to miss training camp due to an ankle injury, and I believe he missed like the first or 2 weeks of NBA basketball. So he naturally got off to a slow start as he had to adjust to the speed, the schedule of the NBA lifestyle. But by the time the second half of the season started, and I don't know if you guys remember, but that first half of the season, Jeremy Grant had got like a hand injury and he had to miss a bunch of time. And once Jeremy Grant came back in the second half of that season, and we added Marvin Bagley to this basketball team, and we put minimum threats around Cade Cunningham, he looked like such a much better basketball player when it came to setting guys up and scoring the basketball. In the second half of the season, he probably put up like 20 points per game, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. So I'm really excited about the roster that we have around him this season, because it's so much talent, and it's a lot of young talent on this team, but it's a lot of talent on this team, and there's other guys that can make plays. And when Cade Cunningham doesn't have the ball, or when he does have the ball, there's going to be multiple players around him that you have to respect their scoring abilities. And I think that's going to open up his game so much, because we touched on it a little bit earlier in the video, but Cade Cunningham, he doesn't really have a weakness in his offensive game. He's an elite 3-level scorer. The 3-point shot, he has it off the catch, and he also has it off the dribble. He can get to the mid-range game, same thing, off the catch, off the dribble, and he's just such a great finisher around the rim. He can finish acrobatically, he can finish with strength, he can finish through you, he can also dunk the ball on you. So he's a great offensive player, and what makes him so special is that IQ. He processes the game so quickly. He knows what's going to happen before 90% of the players in the NBA know what's going to happen. He has a brilliant basketball mind, and then it helps that he can rebound the basketball, and he's a great passer. So if Cade Cunningham was hitting the boards, and he can immediately make an outlet pass to get that break started, or he can push it himself, where he's a great passer and a great scorer in transition. So I'm looking really forward to him playing next season, and I think he could average anywhere between 22 to 25 points per game. I definitely think he's going to average at least 6 assists and 6 rebounds, and I think if things go well, if we're winning enough games, he could definitely be an all-star going into all-star weekend next season. So and I love the guys that we have on this roster. Like I said, I think we have plenty of shooting now. We have guys that can knock down wide open 3-point shots at a very high clip. We have Bogdanovich, who did a great job of shooting the 3-ball last year. We have Alec Burks, who has more to his game than just 3-point shooting. Joe Harris is a knockdown 3-point shooter. We brought in Marcus Sasser. He can knock down the 3-point shot. And then also this team has defenders. We saw what Asor Thompson did in the summer league, was defending and on every facet of the defensive side of the ball. On-ball steals, off-ball steals, blocking shots, helping his guys whenever they got beat. Just put on a defensive master class in the summer league, and also rebounding the basketball. Jalen Duren is an elite rim protector and elite rebounder, and his perimeter defense and ability to switch doesn't get talked about enough. Isaiah Stewart is a rough rider, another guy with size that can guard on the perimeter, and he's used to playing the 5 spot, so it's going to be good to have him at the 4. He's going to be able to guard those bigger forwards and those smaller forwards. So the Detroit Pistons, man, we have a lot to look forward to next season. I can't wait to see what our final rotation is going to be, but most importantly, I can't wait to see Cade Cunningham, and I think he's going to be filling the seats at Little Caesars Arena next season. Not just him, but everybody. Him, Jaden Ivey, Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Asor Thompson. It's going to be a really fun season, but that's what I wanted to talk about with you guys today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe. Subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.